Hey guys, we're back at the Rebel Filmmaking Community. We're on YouTube today and we're learning 3 ways to be a better writer. I love writing. What writing does for me is that, I love acting, writing, and producing for 3 different reasons. Acting is like catharsis, reward for emotions I was not able to display as a Ute, my cousin Vinny reference. Writing is like my pure unadulterated thoughts and expression, and then producing is like my OCD kind of brain getting its rewards. So we're talking about 3 ways to be a better writer today. We are the RFC. My name is Sean, and let's get into it. Number 1, take your time to think about your project before writing. Like, I love when Sorkin or Hemingway talks. Hemingway's my favorite author, as cliche that is. I think he's wonderful. Take your, that most of writing is not writing. The biggest failures I had as a writer were when I tried to write too fast. So take your time, understand that it's a lifelong commitment, and that's okay. It can be okay if that statement scares you too. You just still move forward. This is all to take the pressure off. Mostly I outline, think, ask questions, ask myself questions. It's okay to think, because when you go to write, it should be like you spent time loading. I know guns aren't cool these days, but you spent, like, your process of thinking is like loading a gun, and when you're finally ready to fire it is when you start writing. You don't want to be firing the gun with an empty chamber. Number 2, find your time of day to write that suits you. You may have a full-time job and that you may not get that choice, but if you have more flexibility, for me, I found that I write best in the morning, whereas like my buddy writes best in the late evening hours after it's all said and done and winding down. So that's number 2. That really helps. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, you sit there and you do your writing. If you're thinking about it, you think. If you write, you write. And be okay with like procrastination, because it does happen, as long as you're getting something done. Number 3, learn to write inspired or not. I hear that all the time. I wasn't inspired. I wasn't feeling it. Well, if you get hired to do a show, feelings don't matter. Like, it's still a job, and you have to write inspired or not. So learn that. Learn just to be disciplined. That will take you a long way. And I don't care if people are like, I love writing. I could write every day. Like, it never. Some days it fucking sucks, even if you love it. Some days, if you love skateboarding, like, you probably don't want to. Even if you loved it, there's times where you don't want to skateboard, right? It's the same thing. So, in summary, take your time. Think about it beforehand. Take the pressure off. That's number 1. I was like 3 and 1, really. You guys getting like 5 and 1 today. Number 2, find your time of day to write or night that suits you best. And that's through an experimentation, obviously. Write in the mornings. If you're groggy, try writing in the mid-afternoon. If you're too wired, write in the evening. Figure it out. Number 3, learn to write whether you're inspired or not. That is super important. All right, guys, this has been 3 ways to be a better writer. We are the RFC, taking you from A to Z on making your feature film, and I'm Sean. Have a wonderful day.